All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about installing and getting your digital drawing tablet up and running on your computer. Especially if you've never used one of these before, there are a couple of things to think about when working in them and using them on your operating system. Now, this will be different depending on the model of drawing tablet that you have, and also the process of installing and updating the driver is going to be different if you've got a Windows or a Macintosh computer. But the process should be similar enough that you can follow along and use it for whatever you have. At any time, if you've got a problem with doing this, please let me know and we'll see if we can work something out. The first thing you should do once you get your drawing tablet is to plug it into your computer and see if it works and see what doesn't work. Sometimes these will work right out of the box and the driver will install it by itself automatically. You don't have to do anything. That's especially true for some of the newer versions. Now for this one, I'm intentionally using an older version just to give you an idea of some things that tend to come up. Now I've got mine plugged into my computer and I'm drawing around on it and nothing's really happening. That's simply because I don't have the proper software installed for this one. So I need to do that for my computer. What I do is I'll go to Google, I'll type in the type of the name brand that I have, the type of drawing surface that I'm working on, and then whatever operating system or computer that I have. So I need the Wacom Bamboo driver for the Mac computer. Remember, the driver, that's the software. The first thing that comes up is Wacom's website, and it goes directly to their product support for their drivers, and this is really, really good. Now it's very, very important you know exactly what version of the drawing tablet that you have. I can see Wacom has lots of different products. Each one of these has their own individual drivers, and each one works slightly differently. Now I'm doing a pen tablet, and from here it's going to ask me to choose my product, and here's all the different pen tablets. Now they've even got a variety of different bamboo tablets. So here's Bamboo Capture. You can see by the photograph that's not the same one I have. Bamboo Fun, that's also not the same one. So scroll through. You can even look on the back of your tablet or on the box to make sure you get the exact same one. Now I know if I scroll down, there it is. Here's just the regular Bamboo tablet. There's the picture, the same type that I have on mine, so I know I've got the exact right one for me. Here's even the model number that matches the model number on the back of my drawing tablet. Once you've found the exact same model from the manufacturer, you can go ahead and download the driver. I'll confirm that download. And on a Mac, it's going to be a DMG file. On a Windows, it may be an exe file. Now, this is the software that lets you communicate between your computer and your driver. I'm going to open it up. And then open up this one, and here's the little package file. Now if I double click on this package file, of course it's going to want to install some software, so we may have to jump through a couple of security hoops and agree to all their terms. And it'll take just a minute to install this. Now of course if you're on a Windows computer, your installation process is going to be slightly different, and like I said, some of the newer models come working right out of the box. Give it a few minutes to install the software, and once it's installed, we can start looking at all of the different fun features that go into using your drawing tablet. All right, now it's done. Another thing to know is that if you ever update your operating system, you also may need to update your tablet driver, because very often when operating systems are updated, they tend to drop off things or compatibility, and so it's simply a matter of going through and reinstalling the newest driver. I'm going to close this out. We don't need to keep any of these, but we can erase those away. Now I'm going to use my pen tablet and see if it'll work. Hey, wait a minute, it's still not working right now. All right, so usually it should be working. However, if you're on a Macintosh computer, there's one more funny thing that Apple does. It's a layer of security that keeps certain drivers from automatically taking over your computer. We need to turn this on. So if you plug in your tablet and it's still not communicating or talking, here's what we need to do. Go up to your Apple menu at the very top and choose System Preferences. From your system preferences, first of all, I notice I've got a little Wacom icon down here. This will let me set up everything. But we need to go to our security and privacy. And at the very back here, go to your privacy panel. This allows applications to control and use your computer. And here's the one for the Pen tablet driver that we just installed. Notice that there's no check next to it. Also notice that if you have a Huion tablet, it also needs to have its own driver checked on as well. I've already done it for mine for this one. So I'm going to open up my preferences. Whoops. And I'm going to check on my Pen tablet. Now that it's checked on, I can lock those back down, grab my pen, and now it's fully functional and working. I'm actually able to draw and use this perfectly. So the main thing to take away is if it's not working, go to your security preferences and make sure you've given that application the ability to control your computer. Next, let's go to our main preferences. From here, there should be some little software that allows you to control and set up your Wacom tablet. If you're on a Windows computer, this may be a standalone application, but if you're on a Mac, it can be found under your system preferences. From here, you can start to see and select all the different things and how your tablet is set up. For instance, my tablet has a couple of buttons, and so I can change up and alter what those buttons will do. I can even type in or give it a specific modifier key or a specific keystroke. This means if I needed to undo something, or if I needed to like do a Command Z, let's do a keystroke. Let's say if I wanted to press one of these buttons, I do an automatic Command Z. It'll remember that keystroke, and I'll say OK, and it will undo every time I press this particular key. Same is true for the pen. If I set my pen has two little rocker keys to it, and I can assign different functions to those. And I can also adjust the feel, whether it's how it's drawing, excuse me. So if I needed to make it softer or firmer, or if I needed it to write or be a little bit more pressure sensitive or not. The main thing is, regardless the type of setup that you have, play around with some of the settings to make sure your pen feels right for you, and those can be found under the system preferences or as a standalone application on what you have. The final thing we can do, let's fire up Photoshop. I'm going to create me a quick new document and play around with the pressure sensitivity in Photoshop just to make sure it works well with this particular document. So I've got my brush tool, make my brush a little bit larger. I can start to paint and draw, and there it is. You can see if I do a little bit of pressure, it goes real small. If I do a lot of pressure, it gets much larger. And this is the essence of using the pressure-sensitive tablet within Photoshop and getting it set up. But you have to install this driver and get it up and running before we can start on any of those projects. Again, if you have any problems or difficulty with these, please contact me as soon as possible so that we can get you started on these exercises.